Do, 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 do. They're not like us. Dun, 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 dun. They're not like us. They're not like us. Okay. What's up? Here come the house. Alright, so beautiful morning, you the sunshine, morning, babe, nothing the what. Okay, so the future of the bitcoins. Alright, so do you remember the saying, it's the economy stupid, comma stupid, by the, what's it? So I think it might have been Bill Clinton, his campaign, not 100% sure, and now it looks like we got the Donaldo in office. Kind of interesting. So what I find interesting is it actually looks like I mean, I guess the good thing about being into Bitcoin and doing a lot of studying is I kind of I mean, I didn't have 100% certainty, but at the same time, you know, the fact of the matter was Donald Trump was definitely the world's first super pro Bitcoin president, right? And like the thing was, for me, I was almost like 100% sure, I was like 99.9% certain that Trump would become president. But at the same time, I think the thing is, I wasn't actually certain what would happen to the price of Bitcoin if he actually got elected. And so I suppose the reason why this matters is, like, to cool kanjis. Prices. Which one should I pick? So the question is, do prices matter? Are prices correlated with all this? I mean, certainly prices indicate something, but at the same time, we shouldn't get too hoodwinked by prices too much, insofar much as like long-term prices versus short-term prices obviously can be very different. I think it's more important to stick to the big principles. So yeah, I think Bitcoin is just going to keep hockey sticking from here. You know, broke. Oh yeah, this is when you know it's good news, right? So like, good morning. So. Once Trump got elected, apparently my brother-in-law told my Cindy's mom that like Bitcoin went up 8%, and then Cindy's mom said to Cindy and me this day, she's like, "Good job." It's funny because like when you have a prediction, you go all in and you're quote unquote right or vindicated, it's a little bit anticlimactic. People are like, "Okay, good job," and I'm like, "Cool," right? But if it goes down, they're like, "Haha, I told you so," right? But it doesn't matter. So what's up, Chief? As a consequence, okay, so yeah, MicroStrategy, Bitcoin. So actually, my first thought was, this is just beyond short-term news, right? Is Bitcoin is essentially the world's first perfect property, right? So the problem is like, you want property, like you want to hold something tangible and be like, I own this, right? And I think the big issue is that like, it's like, do you really own it, right? So for example, like, okay, this is my big thought, right? So, you know, Apple, right? This multi-trillion-dollar company, right? So my interesting thought and takeaway was, actually, you never own an iPhone or an iPhone Pro or whatever. You're just leasing it essentially from the Apple Corporation. So even if you pay it all in cash, like $1,500 an iPhone, right? because you're still dependent on iCloud services, blah blah. And then there's also the factor that like at least every 6 years you're probably gonna have to upgrade your iPhone, right? Even if you get the most maxed out iPhone Pro Max with that maximum storage, probably in 6 to 7 years you'll want to get a new one, probably, even if he was very sparing. So as a consequence, yeah, it's never really own it, right? And I mean, that's fine. It's like still the best thing out there. And yeah, at this point, I wouldn't wish an Android or a Samsung phone on my worst enemy. I mean, like, I saw the Samsung iOS, they're so ugly. It's also the big issue now with, I mean, honestly, Android and iPhone, iOS, they're kind of both bad at this point, but Apple is less bad because their impetus or their modus operandi to life is in advertising. People talk a lot about security. I actually don't think it's about security. I think it's actually more about ads. I'm like I could withstand annoyances with X, Y, and Z, but ads is something I don't like. Apple, you guys should integrate the Bitcoin services, right? But anyways, yeah, become a street vlogger. Lumix S9 with the 26 mil F8 pancake. And actually, Lumix Panasonic, good job blacking out the front text. That was actually pretty gangster. That's pretty cool. Good idea. Oh, black everything. And even a random thought too is don't get hoodwinked by the new iPhone Pros. I currently actually think that the best iPhone to get is the newest iPhone that's just black. The normal iPhone, currently 16 black, way thinner is beautiful. I was using the iPhone Pro for a minute, the Desert Titanium, beautiful finish, but the problem is it's too fat and thick, THIQQQQ, and yeah, fat is ugly. It's yeah, thinner is more beautiful. But anyways, and actually what's kind of interesting too is, you know, iPad Pro, iPhone Pro, Apple devices, what has, right? The first thing is, unless you're a super ultra hardcore computer programmer, I don't think nobody needs a laptop no more. You don't need a MacBook Pro no more. Just get a iPad Pro, something else. It also seems that most people, like our parents' generation and beyond, like people in the 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond, everyone is kind of more about, I think, just using an iPhone is more good. Like, so for example, I spent the weekend teaching my uncle, who's like super technological phobe, how to use his iPhone Pro. And also good news. So my uncle, jeweler, his interest in Bitcoin, I'm getting him into Bitcoin and helped set up Coinbase, think about his bank account, and also super interesting, his he has like maybe like 180 G's in life insurance that's going to cash out and then buy Bitcoin with it, and talking about MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, etc. So for him, it's kind of interesting when you got older folks, right? You know, kids are all grown and living their own lives, and his financial goal, you know, is just him and his wife, my aunt, is, you know, to make enough money to pay for my aunt's health insurance, and for them to just like, you know, kind of for him to retire and not have to work no more and live. And like, it's so funny because I've been listening to so many Michael Saylor interviews, and you know, him battling Frank Gustra, the epic Bitcoin versus gold debate and stuff like that. And check this out, okay, so my uncle, who's a jeweler, who's been working with gold for over 35 years, right? He's wanting to buy Bitcoin. I'm like, come on guys, like, dude, this is so obvious, right? So obvious. And the strategy I told him, especially if he wants gains, like you know, let's say his the health insurance is like $4,000 a month, right? For his spouse, right? Then as a consequence, what that then means is, if you want short-term financial gains, actually the best strategy is to just buy and purchase MicroStrategy stock because it's levered long Bitcoins. Like Michael Saylor strategy is like, what's better than Bitcoin? ... More Bitcoin. So it's like 150. So MicroStrategy, the way it's set up, it's essentially 150% Bitcoin. The way they're able to do that is leverage the capital markets, like big corporation, 30 years under the belt. They could go and knock on doors and borrow $1 billion at 0.9% interest rates. You as a private individual cannot, but you could purchase MicroStrategy stock, MSTR. And so what you do is you just, buy the MicroStrategy stock, just write it up, and then whenever it's up, and then you gotta pay the bills or something. Just shave off some off the top. It's like the chia pet chia, right? And then the hair grows up. Just shave off a little bit off the top, and then use that to make your grass smoothies or whatever, right? Or you're doing kefir, take some of the cream off the top, and then use that to drink or eat. Or even like a fleece, right? Like if you have a bunch of like merino wools, right? Let them grow out the little wool, shave off some of the thing, and then you turn into a product, and then you let the rest of it sell. So that seems like kind of an interesting strategy. So anyways, thinking about the future, FASB, Fair Accounting Standards Board, etc. What that then means is, all right. So once again, let's not get too bothered with short-term noise. So big things are going to be incoming. So December, starting next year. This upcoming year in December, there's apparently rumors that Microsoft shareholders, they might consider buying Bitcoins, part of their strategic treasury asset reserves. Good sign. And even Michael Saylor. This is where it's so funny because for so long Twitter was just kind of stupid, a big waste of time. But now once you get the monies and you get finances involved, it actually now, fortunately or unfortunately, matters. Ooh, kind of like this new AMG, only $29,000. Actually, but don't get a black. Look at this, guys. The reason you never want to get a black car in LA or Southern California, look at all that dust. Even in a short period of time, even though it's AMG is gangsta. I love the Mercedes AMGs, but I don't wish a black car even on my worst enemy, unless you want to clean your car for a living, right? So anyways, so that's a big thing. Twitter. Actually, man, in hindsight, double Elon Musk's an effing genius. I think the fact that he strategically purchased Twitter before the elections and blah blah, right, and had enough foresight to predict this. Looks like these big tech companies and tech monopolies are actually like more important than money, because once you let the bird out on Twitter and don't censor people's speech or free speech, looks like it could definitely, like, had Twitter still been owned by Jack Dorsey or the typical board or whatever, no way in hell would I mean, Trump might have still been elected, but who knows, right? So once again, the one of the lessons is true power is politics, whether you like it or not, because he or she who controls the politics also controls the money supply, unless you're betting on Bitcoin, which is not dependent on nobody's. That's kind of an interesting thought. Also, other things starting to come into effect. So starting next year, January 2025, also close to my birthday, is going to be the new FASB rules, FASB, the Fair Accounting Standards Board. And And essentially what that means is the way that banks could handle their balance sheets is like back in the day, you just had own fiat currencies or you know, treasury bonds or stuff from different nations and stuff like that. But now companies could legitimately have Bitcoin as their strategic treasury reserve asset. So as a consequence, can you imagine a world in which you don't have to purchase US dollars no more, you just do Bitcoin? Oh, so what's also interesting about Trump becoming president, right, is that for a long time, I think people thought that the US dollar, and they thought that Bitcoin was actually antonyms, like they're kind of enemies to one another. But actually, I think what this kind of then means is that Bitcoins, they're essentially like best friends, because what that then means is Bitcoiners will start to appreciate the US dollar more, because with the US dollars, it's actually going to be backed by the US dollar, which is pretty exciting. So other things to be excited and look forward to. So not only that, but so if you're thinking about getting into Bitcoin, obviously it's good to do your own research. I'll just give some tips. Watch the recording of what Donald Trump said at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in what was it, Nashville, Tennessee, I think. One of those places, Kentucky, I forget. And how he's talking about building a Bitcoin strategic reserve team. And I don't know, I think it's okay, so things out the gate. Donald Trump is obviously a terrible person, sexist, misogynist, what is, right? But, he is probably the most astute business person of all time. And what's kind of really fascinating is politics is almost like 100%, 150% rhetoric, not real substance or experience. And because he's worked as a businessman for so long, obviously probably doing illegitimate things, he actually does kind of have more real world experience on how to deal with stuff like, even something that was kind of interesting is Trump was like talking about how it's like what on the Joe Rogan podcast, like what word is actually more beautiful than the word love? It's like tariff. It's like you threaten the Chinese with 2,000% tariffs, they're gonna go running away with the tail in between the legs. And I don't know, like obviously Donald Trump is not a good role model, but I don't know. I think the one of the really hard things about politics and everything like that in life is, the nice guys aren't the ones who get rewarded. Good morning. So the nice guys aren't the ones who get rewarded. And for better or worse, I mean, fucking c'est la vie, right? And so it's not like to be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole, right? Like everyone looks at Donald Trump and likens him to Hitler, who is obviously not, right? I mean, I'm a leftist, Democrat, liberal too from the Bay Area, but I'm like, come on, you don't call people Hitler when they're actually not Hitler. It's like not putting like 6,000 Jewish people in gas chambers and killing them, and so anyone who thinks that the Holocaust was a hoax, you just anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic, whatever you want to call yourselves. Actually, the reason why the whole like Kanye thing and a lot of famous African-American basketball players, blah blah, so misguided was, they said, how can you be anti-Semitic when the quote black people, we the original Semites? And there's actually wisdom to that. So Ethiopia, I mean, there's also theories that Jewish people, the first people who went to Egypt, they're from Ethiopia. Kind of makes sense. I mean, Egypt's right there, right? There's even apparently a group of Jewish people from Ethiopia that obviously look quote black. They call it Beta Israel. And